Having humility in manifestation does not mean that you don't believe you deserve the best of everything. Having humility in manifestation means that you understand the balance of when to express your flex, your prideful energy, and when to express your vulnerability. Because if you express one of those two things in the wrong place, you are going to experience disruption. If you express flex, prideful energy in a place where it does not belong, you are going to be humbled. You are going to be directly humiliated, right? If you express vulnerability in a place where you're not meant to express vulnerability, you're going to be kept in that vulnerable place. You're going to be locked into that state of struggle, right? Humiliation is often the result of a lack of humility. So I really want to break that down in this video in regards to manifestation. Also, welcome to day 3 of my 10-part educational manifestation series. We talked about in previous parts of the series, manifestation and shadow work is an oscillation. It goes up and down, right? So having a really intrinsic understanding of where to express those highs and where to express those lows and where is safe for you, right? What is in alignment for you to express those things? Who is in alignment for safety for you to express those things to? And understanding the spaces in which those parts of your life belong is very important to understanding aligned manifestation. The types of humility to focus on is going to be different based on the type of manifestor that you are. So if you need to go back to like part 1 and find what group you belong to, you're welcome to go back there. Otherwise, I am going to be putting the times right here because everyone thanked TikTok for giving me 30-minute videos. I know you guys love hearing me talk for fucking ever. Anyway, this is a long fucking video. They all are in the series. I'm going to put your timestamps here, so if you just want to skip to your group, you can just do that now. So group 1 manifestors, your focus of humility is always going to be in forms of self and developing healthy envy. Why? Because we are constantly seeking out, we are made to constantly seek out things to admire and attain to, right? We are constantly, our brains and our energies are constantly looking for people and places and careers to look up to because we're building big, long-term manifestations, okay? So a lot of our humility is going to be focused on not developing unhealthy forms of envy or jealousy, okay? Because you were quite literally made to relate to other people, to reflect on other people, to see their success far before you see your own. That is quite literally what we are here to do. Make sure that you are keeping up with the humility of not developing jealousy, and I'll tell you why that can be dangerous. We as group 1 manifestors can accidentally force alchemy onto other people because we are inherently alchemists. Our lives have been structured around personal development through struggle and trauma. Do you get what I'm saying? So we have to be very careful about this because our well wishes for someone to improve or grow or evolve can easily become a curse if we are not being very directive about where we are coming from with our intentions. That is why focuses of self and healthy envy are so important for people like us. Our entire jobs in life, right? As a group 1 manifestor, we are meant to comfort people through the more difficult times. We are meant to offer compassion in people's low spaces. We are quite literally from the hell they are scared of. So therefore, it is our job to guide them once they arrive. It is our job to bring them through the difficulty, no matter how small it may seem. And that is another facet of humility for group 1 manifestors, is making sure that you are in no way comparing your struggle, your trauma to other people's, that you are not judging other people, right? Because our basic form of humanity is non-judgment as a group 1 manifestor. We have been through hell. Therefore, the last people who should be judging people who are actively in it is us. So making sure that we're not judging other people because their struggles seem smaller than ours, or the resulting pain may feel like it may seem less than ours, right? Our job is to offer compassion, love, understanding, no matter what our personal projections are. And those personal projections, that is your alchemy. Do you understand what I'm saying? Making sure that you are being in alignment with the alchemist they have created you to be is obscenely important for a group 1 manifest. Comforting other people in alchemical processes and guiding people through darkness is quite literally our shared power. Do you understand what I'm saying? The number one thing that I find with group 1 manifestors, we have a bad habit of weaponizing our personalities. Why? Because we have been forced to develop them. In a lot of ways, in a lot of our lives, the only thing we have ever had is our personality, who we are. When we are out of alignment or we feel triggered, group 1 manifestors, especially if we feel triggered by someone who has more material than we do, right? More materialism, or those things are being thrown in our face, right? Or we're being somebody's trying to push us into a vulnerable state of struggle, right? And we don't like that. We tend to depend on whatever characteristics we have developed to weaponize against other people, and we have to be very careful of not doing so. We have a bad habit of weaponizing intelligence, of weaponizing knowledge, of weaponizing skill, of weaponizing our need for perfection, right? Like, we tend to take the things that we've worked very hard for and turn them into weapons when we feel triggered. And this is very important to notate in your humility, in your manifestations as a group one manifester. Do you get what I'm saying? Because it's furthermore like shadow that you're developing. You're giving yourself more work through this. You are naturally built to offer compassion, right? And the voices in your head that offer judgment are not you. I can promise you that. So take those things into a journal, because understanding that who you are is enough, that being who you are will align you to those manifestations. There's no reason to develop unhealthy forms of jealousy or envy as a group one manifester. Those things, I promise, will naturally come to you so long as you are keeping up with who you are internally. So our focuses have to stay on that internal sense of self. Victim mindsets don't belong to us in any way, shape, or form. If you're group one, get them the fuck out of your head. I really fucking mean that. They just cannot belong to us, okay? Your inherent job, your natural flow state is a state of becoming through the struggle, is becoming through the trauma, becoming through the darkness. Do you get what I'm saying? Victim mindsets will never align for you, ever. The second you feel bad for yourself or anything else, it's just gonna go downhill, trust me, okay? Victim mindsets cannot belong to us. Stop playing the trauma Olympics. If you're a group one person, I am so sick of this, okay? Group one people are not meant to, we are meant to offer comfort in those places and evolution in those places. And if you are not providing that to yourself in your own narrative, in your own story, you're going to crash and burn as a group one manifester. I'm telling you, that manifestation that you've been waiting on, it's going to come a lot later, as long as you feel like life is unfair for you. Life is not unfair for you. Quite literally, you are built for this. This is what you chose, babe. And in any way, if you see it differently than that, drop the mindset. I'm telling you, it's not working for your manifestation style. Sorry. So group two manifestors, your concepts of humility within manifestation are going to be based around balance and focus, right? And the reason that I say that is because you guys have a very multifaceted perspective of life, because you flow in the most natural format of life. Life moves in natural ups and downs, right? Like group ones and group threes are actually like the soul weirdos, right? That's what most people are naturally grouped to, okay? And even you'll find that people in group one and group three will utilize group two oscillations. There's a reason for that. You guys are intrinsic teachers. Group two people are often great healers, great witches, great teachers, because once you achieve the guidance, the concept, you master the spell, right? You achieve the healing. You can therefore not only always provide that to yourself, you can also share it with others, which is why group one and group three you will often find utilizing group two oscillations to teach themselves. You guys teach us simply through existing, through being. So when we're looking at the balance concepts of this, it's because you guys experience more manifestation and shadow work oscillations than anyone else, than either of the other two groups, because your entire flow is moving in that natural state. So you have the ability of always seeing where another person is. You can always see where a person is on that oscillation if you pay attention to it. And the more that you reflect on your own life, on your own ups and downs, on the your own comfort, the more you're going to really develop in the sense of not only who you are, but also what you can offer externally, not only to yourself, but to everyone around you, right? Your aspect is balance. And the more that you can dive into that balance of seeing how your internal work directly affects the external world, the more you're really going to fit into this flow of manifestation. You guys cheer for other people's victories, you comfort them in their losses, right? Your job is to be the person that they need in that state, because you have a very good understanding of personal balance. You have a good understanding of balance in life. You have the opportunity to be both, to be a cheerleader and also be the person who they hug at the end of a bad day. Do you get what I'm saying? You guys hold such a beautiful intrinsic knowledge, and it has such value. Therefore, it is meant to be used with grace. So a lot of that humility is coming into understanding the balance of not only another person's life, but also the balance of you in those people's lives. How do you balance that energy? How do you offer grounding? How do you offer encouragement, right? You are quite literally built to offer both of them. And that's so beautiful, that you have the opportunity to offer a person whatever it is that they directly need in that moment, right? So utilize that ability, not only for other people, but for yourself. Asking directive questions. What is the need currently right now? I promise you personally will always have the solution if it is in your reality. Your superpower comes from offering comfort in the oscillating flow of life, because again, you guys move in the most natural state. So you guys offer a distinctive sense of comfort once you naturally align yourself with the fact that I go from shadow work to manifestation, and that's how life moves. And the more you develop that internal comfort with yourself, the more you will externally offer comfort to everything and everyone around you. You will fall into that natural form of manifestation for you. Group 3 manifestors. Your humility comes into focus in the aspect of sharing the ease of life with others. Okay, life is supposed to feel easy and soft and beautiful and plentiful and wealthy, right? That is what life is supposed to feel like for every person. And group 3 manifestors live naturally in this state. So the humility comes in with, how do I absolutely destroy any sense of struggle and or lack around me? And this does not mean giving away everything you own. This means understanding where there's struggle, where there is lack, and understanding that if it is showing up in your reality as a group 3 manifestor, it is inherently your job to fix it. I've always said that with group 3 manifestors, and any friends I have that are group 3 manifestors, that if you are keeping people around you who you watch struggle in any way, shape, or form, it is inherently an ego problem. And you need to take it to a journal. Okay, because there's no reason that a group 3 manifestor, because group 3 manifestors naturally hold a sense of privilege, a sense of power, a sense of financial wealth, right? Whatever it is as a group 3 manifestor, you hold a sense of privilege in the hierarchy we currently exist in. Therefore, it is your exclusive job to make sure you are actively sharing that in every single space. As a group 3 manifestor, people are going to be brought into your reality. Situations are going to be brought into your reality. As we talked about in the last video, not only as that like form of test of your alchemical service, but also that is your job. You are there to maintain the wealth, to spread the wealth, not just through physical and material objects. Again, because this is not about materialism. This is about breaking down lack mindset. This is about, if you hear somebody having a conversation around you that is unhealthy, you should break down their lack of knowledge, right? Being a group 3 manifestor who is meant to share in the ease of life means that you are disrupting anything that in any way could create a problem for someone else. That means if you are behind closed doors in a private conversation and you don't think that the internet or someone else will hear you, it is your directive job to resolve that problem. You are a group 3 manifestor. You have the privilege, the power, the networking, the financial wealth. In order to solve those problems, it is inherently your job, and this is where your humility comes in. As a group 3 manifestor, your form of humility comes from resolving the lack that is your intrinsic job, but without being boastful about it. And if you're a group 3 manifestor, your question should be, how often do I help people without telling any other person? Right? Because your alchemical work is supposed to be about how you genuinely influence the world through wealth without directly taking it away. Right? For example, if you're a group 3 person and you go and you donate and then you go and immediately brag about it to everyone you know, right? Those are forms of unhealthy boastfulness, right? That is not a form of alchemical work. The universe does not respect that, okay? Helping someone, helping a directive person, like let's say a friend calls you, they need help, right? And you go and tell 15 other people about how hard they're struggling and how you had to help them, you are in no way helping that person. You are actively taking away the wealth that you shared with them in one way or another, whether that be comfort, whether that be knowledge, because again, these aren't all material things. A lot of the group 3 is supposed to be about supplying awareness and evolution and encouragement, right? You as a group 3 manifestor have more access to things like therapy, to things like resources than almost any other person does. And if you're not actively utilizing that privilege and education, you yourself are failing at your intrinsic job as a group 3 manifestor. Group 3, the main form of humility comes in with understanding that everything you have ever been gifted is simply that, a gift. It is simply a gift, right? And I'm not saying that nobody in group 3 works hard. That is not what I'm saying at all. I am saying that a form of humility that comes with being in group 3 is understanding that if group 2 or group 1 work just as hard as you, their manifestation would in no way be the same. And understanding that when you hand out those forms of education and knowledge and awareness, and even if it is financial things, that it is not done in vain. Because when those things are done in vain, when that generous energy is taken back like that, the universe, they clock that. They clock that. And when that payment comes due, it's going to be on the fucking list, I promise. Watch the full video, then you know in group 1 that I told group 1 that victim mindsets do not belong to them. Victim mindsets do not belong to group 1. Ego does not belong to group 3. Any form of ego, I'm so telling you, if you think you're better than any other person, if you sit around and tell yourself you're better than your coworkers, you're better than your colleagues, you're better than your friends, you're better than your family, if any form of that thought crosses your mind, you should do shadow work about it. Because I'm telling you, as a group 3 manifestor, it's not going to go well for you to compare your place in life to other people's in a boastful way, the universe will have a very bad taste in their mouth about that. Whether it be the education that you have received, or how far you've gotten in your career, or how much money you have obtained, boastful ego, pride around any of those things is completely out of flow with your manifestation style, and it will eventually kept up to you. I will say that I always tell group 3 to be aware, because as we notated in like episode 1 and like part 1, those things tend to come back for payment later when you are in group 3. So if you are a group 3 person, please become aware of these things very much sooner rather than later, because your entire group is based around this will come back to bite you in the ass later. That's like what your entire group is based around. Do you get what I'm saying? Making sure that you're paying attention to, not giving yourself bad brownie points. I'm telling you, it's not going to work out well for you. I think that we talk about humility on this app a lot. I don't really think that a lot of us know how to apply it. Don't worry, your friendly neighborhood alchemist showed up to help you out. But I do think that it's really important to talk about, because I feel like it's too often that some of us feel the need to get up on a horse and just be proud of ourselves. And some people feel the need to knock other people off of their high horses, right? But that's why we're coming into this conversation, to understand which of us need to apply more pride, more encouragement to ourselves, which of us need to apply more humility, like more directive humbling ourselves, which of us need to understand that our lives flow between humility and pride, right? But for all of us to understand the correct places to place that flex energy and that vulnerable energy, it really gives us this like intrinsic value of understanding how we should express ourselves without some sense of feeling like someone is trying to knock us off of our high horse, or feeling like we need to get back up on it because we have been knocked down, right? Understanding the places in which you can ride that horse freely, or you can get off of it and take a rest and have a hug, right? Understanding what places and how to express yourself properly is going to be the perfect amount of like understanding for your alignment. When we begin to understand these manifestation types, and also what healthy and unhealthy humility looks like, we begin to provide a safe world for ourselves to exist in, right? For example, the worst thing you could possibly do is express your financial vulnerability to a group 3 manifestor who is unhealthy, right? I don't care how successful that person is. I don't care how much good advice you would think they have in business or whatever success you're trying to obtain, right? If you express that financial vulnerability to an unhealthy group 3 manifestor, they will keep you locked there. They will make sure that you continue to struggle, even if they do it subconsciously, right? They're living in an unhealthy form of humility. On the other hand, right, one of the worst things you could do is expressing like a vulnerability or like some kind of like sadness or even some kind of pride, right? Go be happy in front of a miserable fucking group 1. Go be happy in front of an unhealthy group 1 person. They're going to tell you apart. They're going to make you feel like you could never have a problem in the world because their trauma is so much worse than this. They're going to make you feel like, how dare you for expressing something happy about your life in front of me when I struggle so hard, right? Understanding the healthy and unhealthy expressions of these energy patterns, and also seeing these energy patterns in yourself and in the world and in other people, helps you understand where you are safe to express, hey, I'm proud of myself right now. Hey, I'm really upset right now. I could really use a hug, right? Without intrinsically harming yourself on an energetic scale. But we have attached this concept of materialism to manifestation in a way that we are trusting all of the wrong people with telling us how to go about our lives. And it is therefore keeping us locked in this really, really terrible place of struggle and vulnerability that is just not healthy for any of us. What I want you to take from this video, okay, is that humility and the application thereof is not one size fits all. Understanding where you fit into this is absolutely important, because while some of us are meant to feel like we are the greatest person alive, there are some of us who absolutely should never feel like we are better than anyone or anything ever, right? And understanding where you fit into this, and also what these healthy and unhealthy expressions of these manifestation styles look like, really helps you align with people and manifestations that are accurate for you and flow within your life. Does that make sense? For the love of the gods, stop telling other people that they need humility unless you understand these concepts. Stop accepting from other people the type of humility you need unless they themselves understand these concepts. Okay, because I'll tell you something about myself. Many people have tried to knock me off my high horse in life, right? I crawled up from hell. Personally, I stole this fucking horse. I taught myself how to ride that bitch, and I will kill you with my bare hands before you get me off of that motherfucker. Okay? And that's a healthy expression for my manifestation style. However, the second that I got down off of that horse and started telling you that I'm better than you because you were handed a horse and I had to earn mine and da-da-da, that is an unhealthy expression of the same manifestation style, right? Understanding these expressions, exactly what it looks like, exactly which one suits you in your life, paramount. So important. Okay, I love you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 4.